Gladys Knight, the legendary Empress of Soul, whose voice has inspired generations, has faced a life filled with both triumph and heartbreak. At 81, many expect a quiet retirement for the iconic singer. Yet behind her enduring smile lies a story that's as emotional as any ballad she has ever sung. From her earliest days performing with the Pips in Georgia to filling arenas around the world, Gladys has always been more than just a singer. She is a survivor. Over decades in the music industry, she has endured personal loss, family struggles, and the pressures of fame, all while maintaining her place as a voice that defined an era. Recently, news about Gladys Knight has left fans in shock. It's not just her age, it's the challenges she's faced in recent years, the trials that show even a superstar is not immune to life's harshest realities. Health scares, family tragedies, and the weight of decades in the spotlight have all left an indelible mark on the Empress of Soul. Through it all, Gladys continues to inspire. Her resilience and grace, despite pain and heartbreak, demonstrate the extraordinary strength that made her an icon. Yet her story is also a reminder that even legends are human, vulnerable, emotional, and deeply affected by life's twists. What happened to Gladys Knight at 81 is a story that will leave you in awe and in tears. From personal losses to the struggles of aging in an unforgiving industry, her journey is a testament to endurance, faith, and the power of music to heal. Gladys Knight was born on May 28, 1944, in Atlanta, Georgia, into a humble family. From an early age, her voice stood out. Singing in church and local talent shows, she displayed a rare gift, a voice that could convey both joy and sorrow with the slightest note. Yet, growing up in the segregated South came with its own hardships. Knight and her family faced discrimination, financial struggles, and the constant challenge of trying to make a living while pursuing her dreams. By her teens, Gladys had joined her siblings and friends to form what would become the legendary group, the Pips. The group started performing locally, and their natural talent quickly caught the attention of record labels. But success didn't come overnight. Years of grueling performances, small paychecks, and long bus rides tested their patience and dedication. For a young Gladys, the dream of stardom came at the cost of her innocence and personal life. Her first major heartbreak came in the early 1960s, as the pressures of fame and touring strained her personal relationships. Balancing the demands of an emerging career with family expectations and societal pressures was no easy task. Despite these struggles, the Pips signed with Motown in the mid-1960s, marking the beginning of a historic career. Hits like Every Beat of My Heart and Letter Full of Tears showcased Knight's incredible vocal range, earning her recognition as one of the era's most promising talents. Yet, even as the world celebrated her talent, the personal cost was mounting. The constant travel, long rehearsals, and rigorous studio schedules took a toll. Relationships faltered, and Knight often found herself caught between her ambitions and her desire for a normal life. It was the first of many reminders that fame often demands sacrifices that go unseen by fans. Through the trials, Gladys's resilience began to shine. Her voice became her armor, her performances a sanctuary from life's challenges. Each heartbreak, each setback, only deepened the emotional depth that would later define her iconic sound. It was clear even then that her journey would be one of both triumph and enduring pain, a duality that would follow her for decades to come. By the 1970s, Gladys Knight and the Pips had reached the pinnacle of soul music. Chart-topping hits like Midnight Train to Georgia and Neither One of Us solidified her status as the Empress of Soul. Yet, behind the success lay a series of personal struggles that few fans ever saw. As her career soared, Knight faced the challenges of balancing family life with the relentless demands of fame. She married and had children, but the long tours and late-night studio sessions strained her relationships. The pressure to maintain a public image of perfection often masked the emotional exhaustion she carried. Friends close to her noted that Knight rarely complained, instead pouring herself into her music as a way to cope with the mounting stress. Tragedy struck in her personal life as well. She endured the deaths of close family members, including the loss of loved ones whose support had been vital during her early years. These events left deep emotional scars. Knight often turned to her faith for solace, finding strength in God and music alike, but the pain never fully faded. Each loss reminded her that while she could uplift others with her voice, she was not immune to life's heartbreaks. The relentless scrutiny of the public added another layer of challenge. Rumors, media speculation, and the constant pressure to perform weighed heavily. The music industry demanded perfection, and Knight's every move was examined and critiqued. For a woman who had already given so much to her craft, the constant judgment was exhausting. Yet she persisted, her voice unwavering, her stage presence captivating, and her determination unbroken. During this period, Knight also faced professional setbacks. Record deals fell through, tours were cancelled, and creative disagreements threatened her artistic vision. But each challenge only reinforced her resilience. She learned to navigate the treacherous waters of fame while protecting her family and preserving her legacy. By the end of the decade, it became clear that Gladys Knight's life was a balancing act between extraordinary talent and extraordinary challenges. She had built a career that inspired millions, but it had come at a personal cost. Strained relationships, the weight of loss, and the relentless pressure of being a global icon. Her story was not just one of musical triumph, but of endurance, courage, and the quiet heartbreak that often accompanies greatness. As Gladys Knight entered her 70s, the years of grueling tours, late-night performances, and constant travel began to take a toll on her body. Known for her powerful voice and energetic stage presence, Knight had spent decades pushing herself to the limit, often ignoring her own health in favor of giving everything to her fans. Over time, small health issues accumulated, reminding her that even icons are not immune to the effects of aging. Reports surfaced of fatigue, mobility challenges, and the need for longer rest periods between performances. Friends and family described her as resilient, but physically strained, a woman who had carried the weight of her career on her shoulders for decades. Even as her voice remained strong, the effort required to maintain her legendary stage presence became increasingly demanding. Alongside physical struggles came the emotional strain of public scrutiny. The media, while adoring her talent, often sensationalized her personal life, digging into her family relationships, divorces, and past heartbreaks. Social media amplified this attention, with fans speculating about her health, her retirement plans, and her ability to continue performing. For a woman who had devoted her life to music, this constant spotlight was exhausting, a reminder that fame never truly fades. Yet, through it all, Knight's spirit remained unbroken. She continued to perform, albeit selectively, choosing venues and tours that allowed her to manage her health while staying connected to her audience. Her resilience became an inspiration, showing that even in the face of physical limitations and public pressure, a true artist never stops giving. The years had also deepened her introspection. Knight began speaking openly about the importance of self-care, faith, and surrounding herself with loved ones who supported her. She acknowledged the heartbreaks, the losses, and the physical toll of decades in music, but she also highlighted the joy that performing brought her. It became clear that at 81, Gladys Knight's journey was about more than music. It was about survival, perseverance, and the ability to inspire even while facing life's toughest challenges. Her story is a reminder that even legends face vulnerability, and that age and health struggles do not diminish the power of her voice or her influence. In many ways, Knight's struggles humanize her, showing fans that behind the iconic performances is a woman of remarkable strength who has endured more than most can imagine. At 81, Gladys Knight's life is a testament to resilience, faith, and the enduring power of music. While her voice continues to captivate audiences, the true story behind the Empress of Soul is one of personal sacrifice, heartbreak, and a relentless commitment to family and career. Knight's family has always been her anchor. Despite divorces, strained relationships, and the pressures of fame, she remained devoted to her children, grandchildren, and extended family. Her love for them often guided difficult decisions, from limiting tours to prioritizing private time over public appearances. Friends say that for Gladys, family was never secondary to her career. It was the reason she endured decades of challenges in the industry. The emotional toll of a lifetime in the spotlight, however, is undeniable. Knight has openly acknowledged the heartbreak she faced, lost loved ones, failed relationships, and the loneliness that often accompanies stardom. The public may see the glamour and accolades, but behind the scenes, Knight navigated years of personal struggle with grace and dignity. Her resilience became part of her legend, inspiring fans to see beyond her artistry and appreciate the woman behind the microphone. Her legacy, meanwhile, remains unmatched. With 9 Grammy Awards, countless hits, and an influence that spans generations, Knight has shaped the landscape of soul and R&B. She broke barriers for women in music, challenged industry norms, and remained a symbol of authenticity in an era of manufactured stars. Yet her greatest triumph may not be her awards, but her ability to survive and thrive despite the emotional and physical tolls of her journey. Today, as fans celebrate her 81st year, they also witness the quiet struggles that continue to shape her life. Health challenges, the realities of aging, and the memories of past losses remind us that even legends are human. But Knight's story is ultimately one of hope, a reminder that endurance, love, and faith can carry us through the darkest times. In the end, Gladys Knight at 81 is not just a musical icon, she is a survivor. Her voice will continue to echo through generations, but it's her courage, strength, and vulnerability that define her true legacy. The tragedy she has faced, the heartbreaks endured, and the sacrifices made all serve to remind us. Behind every legend lies a human being who has fought, suffered, and triumphed, and Gladys Knight is the living embodiment of that journey.